Hi, I'm the notorious TOBY. That doesn't really work, does it? But this is listening to Punk in My Shed. So this is listening to Punk in My Shed. Listening to a punk album in my shed and talking about it in my shed. There's two caveats as always. Firstly, I'm not the world's biggest punk, so let's not have an argument about that. Secondly, it's punk, not just punk rock, not just hardcore. Punk is a sort of umbrella for lots of different punk-inspired music. That being said, today we're going to be listening to something which definitely falls into the punk rock genre. It's time to put on your denim shorts and hitch your guitar up over your waist, because we're listening to thrashy political band Propagandhi and their 2001 album, Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes. Yeah, Propagandhi are really politically active. They're anti-fascist, anti-capitalist, anti-racist, anti-imperialist, pro-feminists, pro-LGBTQ, pro-animal rights, just basically all the good stuff, all the right stuff. I'm not vegetarian, I've got to point that out, but that's mainly just due to my terrible relationship with food. So just failing on my part that I eat meat. I was sort of aware of them for a lot of years, but I never really got into them. I kind of saw them as this skate punk, Vans Warped Tour band. And I just never really understood where they were coming from, saw the appeal. And then a couple of years ago, I listened to a song off this album which really got me into it. And I think people who know this album can probably guess what song that was. But we'll talk about that later anyway, obviously. So, let's give it a go. Yeah, so it starts with a little excerpt of a speech from someone who was grew up in East Timor and was involved in the struggle against Indonesia, which is something I didn't know about until I started listening to this, so it's all pretty educational already. She ended up defecting to Canada, so I guess because Propagandhi are Canadian, so I guess that makes it pretty personal for them. Yeah, it's a nice comparison of privileged Western upbringing compared to some of the horrible situations that other people live in around the world, I guess. And there's the sort of thrashy, palm-muted, riffy stuff, which is that's really what they do, and it's great. They're a really dense band when it comes to vocals, proper storytelling stuff. I guess it's kind of I'd hesitate to call it emo, but definitely kind of more on the post-hardcore than straight hardcore sort of stuff. Well, there you go, skate punk stuff there. I mean, well, you hear what it's going to be. You know this is going to be pretty hardcore. And there it is, man. I'm just such a sucker for a nice shouty hardcore track. No fences, no borders, free movement for all. I mean, it appeals to the anarchist in me. Would it work on a practical level? I have no idea. Capitalism doesn't work though, does it? Protectionism doesn't work, so who knows? Maybe time for some new thinking. But I'm not really clever enough to say what's a good idea and what isn't, to be honest. Really punk rock. Melodic punk rock, I guess. Well, that's nice. They sound I don't know, I was going to try and think of some really light band like Jimmy Eat World or something like that, but my brain was a little bit fried just by listening to the song. Is it fair to say Jimmy Eat World is a light band? I don't know, college rock? I mean, okay, so like Propagandhi are Canadian, but most of the subject matter is about like the USA. And at one point, I was a little bit like, "What? So Canada's never really done anything wrong?" But actually, if you look at it, they sort of start off singing songs that are addressing Canada's treatment of its indigenous populations and stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, like if you're looking at the history of imperialism, I mean, Canada's not been that bad globally compared to the USA, obviously, compared to us, unfortunately. So I was saying there was one song I'd listened to that's got me into this album, and I said it'd be obvious to people who knew it, and obviously is this track. Yeah, it's what, like a, you know, like deliberately dumbed down maybe song about gentrified punk, how he'd rather go back to his job in I think it's a travel agent, than you know, be told what punk is by people who just approach it as tourists in a way. They're acting anarchists and mummies little skinheads. Mate, I've got to just make the point that like, I shave my head mainly because of just like unaesthetic male pattern baldness. So, I mean, I've shaved my head for aesthetic reasons before, but like this isn't a political statement. So. I mean, it's just a fucking rocking song, isn't it? I think that there can be a danger of doing something which is meant to have an ironic edge to it, just being taken unironically by people. But also, I mean, you know, fuck it, they're a punk band. It's fun to listen to punk songs. Yeah. What's this, like hypocrisy of religion and stuff? Just realised it might be kind of ironic because I'm wearing a St. Joseph medal. Not because I'm religious, but just because it's all just spell casting, isn't it? It's all charms. It's like charms, my daughter's initial in Old English, which I realised when you start getting like Old English runes and stuff tattooed on your knuckles, you do, especially with this, you do run the risk of looking like a white supremacist. So, I mean, I'm not. Just in case you're wondering. It just doesn't let up, this song. None of this album really lets up. It's great. Yay! It's like another song you really got to do your research for. It's worth looking up. COINTELPRO, infiltrate, disrupt legitimate political groups in America. I mean, we've seen it here. You know, we've seen police infiltrate animal rights groups and climate change groups and stuff like that. So I guess it's up to you to make your own decision about the ethics, or how you feel about the ethics of that. I don't know, I can tell you how I feel about it. So I've only got their stuff on digital download, but I think when you buy them, their physical copies, you get like a reference pack for things you should read, things that you should know about, things that explain what's going on in their songs, which is actually pretty cool. It's nicely introspective now, isn't it? Let's stop and have a think about what we've just heard. It's like kind of like a TED talk, but like with guitars. So if you want like a nice bit of quiet listening, nice calm screamo song, so metally. I've never seen these guys live. I really wish I had. I hope to get a chance to maybe some point in the future. Like 19 years old, this album, and it's still so relevant to me anyway. I think it's a real sort of System of a Down sort of thing in my mind. I think it came out at the same time as Toxicity, I think, a word that I have real problems pronouncing for some reason. No, I've honestly got nothing to say about this one. Yeah, so last track on the album, and they're starting off with audio from I think a guest documentary about the treatment of animals, treatment of a pig on a farm. And they're making some kind of parallel point by starting off the album with the audio from someone speaking about being oppressed. Not that interesting. I don't know if does my point make sense. But anyway, even if you don't listen to the message of the song, it's just nice, smacks. It's good. I was thinking there's a track on a Gouge Away album. Have Gouge Away done more than one album? They've done Dies. That's the one I've listened to. In the middle, they've got a similar audio clip describing the treatment of animals. In that case, it was animal testing. I don't know why it popped into my head. I might review Gouge Away. I'll probably have to give it a bit more of a listen though. Having fun with the last track. I keep thinking someone's banging on the shed. I don't know what's going on. It might be the wind. Or my neighbour's telling me to shut the fuck up. Maybe. Is it Dave? So yeah, that was Today's Empires, Tomorrow's Ashes by Propagandhi. 19 years old. I mean, to me, sounds as modern as anything I've heard recently. It might be because my knowledge of what is actually modern isn't really as either broad or as in depth as it probably should be for me to judge. But yeah, I don't know. It's good. Like a pre-9/11 album that still sounds politically relevant as well. So I guess things don't really change that much. I think what I like about it is, I mean, I think, well, I don't know if I'll keep it in. I might cut it out, but I think I mentioned it sounding more like a TED talk than anything else. And it's very like lyrically dense and like taking the time to really deal with a lot of issues in a thoughtful way. When like a lot of political music is kind of unfocused stuff that growing up I thought was, you know, this is radical, this is informed, stuff like say like Rage Against the Machine. You listen to it now and it's mainly just sloganeering, whereas this you could take lyrics and write them out and it would be, if you're not a political essay, then at least it would come across as quite an informed Reddit post, I guess. I think what's funny about this album as well is that like in my mind it goes on for ages and the songs are really long, and then you look and it's only half an hour, a little bit over half an hour, and it's the songs just like some of them that you feel are quite epic actually bash out in like 2 minutes, under 2 minutes. It's very shouty. I mean, go and listen to shouty music. Very shouty. If you like shouty, then this is good for you. I like shouty. Should I give it a rating out of 10? I don't know. 9? Maybe? Because you can't give everything 10? What have I got to finish up with? Nothing really. Email me, whatever. I was chatting to a friend and I said that if I ever say like and subscribe, then he's got permission to punch me. But he said that if I said it, then he would punch the like button, which kind of gives me a get out. But I'm still not going to say it. I think we all know how the internet works, don't we? That's clever, wasn't it? So yeah, cool. Yeah, this was listening to Punk in My Shed.